Hello everyone, my name is Sandhya Avasthi, and in this video I'm going to discuss a very important Java new features included in Java 8 and beyond, that is base 64 encoding and decoding. So in this part I'm going to discuss base 64 encoding, base 64 decoding, why encoding is important, types of encoding and decoding. So base 64 is basically a group of binary to text encoding schemes that represent binary data in ASCII string format by translating into a radix 64 representation. So Java 8 has added a class, base 64 class, that has capability to the standard API, and you can use its feature by importing Java utility package and its main class, base 64 utility class. So there are mainly three types of encoding and decoding capabilities as standard. All of the classes are related to this are in java.util.base64 package. So these are three types mainly while you are performing encoding and decoding. So there are three ways you can do it. Base or simple type encoding and decoding. Then the second one is URL encoding and decoding. And then third one is MIME encoding and decoding. So the types of encoding mainly include in what we do when we do a basic encoding. So output is mapped to a set of character lying in mainly A to Z and lowercase a to Z, then numbers 0 to 9, and then symbol plus and slash. So the encoder does not add any line feed in the output, and decoder rejects any character other than the mentioned character here. While performing URL encoding decoding, here output is mapped to a set of characters that are lying in the range given, that is uppercase A to Z, lowercase a to Z, and 0 to 9, plus an underscore. Here the output is URL and file name safe. The third one is MIME, MIME. The output is mapped to a MIME friendly format, and output is represented in lines of no more than 76 characters. So if there are the string is a very big string, so that string is, while encoding, that string is divided into the characters of group of 76 characters each, and it also uses a carriage returns and also a line feed /n as the line separator. So here no line separator is present to the end of encoded output. So some systems are restricted to ASCII character but are actually, these are some of the reasons why encoding is important. So while you are doing programming and the data is transferred from one system to another, so the format of the data might not be compatible. So that is what is mentioned here, that some systems are restricted to ASCII character and but are actually used for all kind of data. So the function of encoding is mainly the base 64 class is to camouflage this data as ASCII data and thus helping data pass the validation. Second reason is a very important reason, that is older system thinks data is 7-bit chunks bytes, whereas modern one uses 8-bit bytes. So this may lead to misunderstanding between the system. That's why encoding is important. The third reason is while performing encoding, some of the characters have a spatial meaning, and this will also differ from system to system. So the base 64 tackles this by using only the most purely textual character from the ASCII set. So the first type, that is basic encoding type. What it does, the basic encoder keeps things simple and encodes the input as is without any line separation. The encoder maps the input to a set of character in the given range, that is uppercase A to Z and lowercase a to Z, 0 to 9, plus and slash. So this is a sample code that shows original input, a string object, original input, and the value is test input. So here the encoded string that will basically hold the encoded value. So here the method belonging to class base64, that is get encoder, is used, and the function of encode to string method is to convert this array of bytes. So this is the original input that is first converted into array of bytes, and that is encoded in the string format using get encoder method. So mainly this encoded string object holds the encoded value. How do we do decoding? So decoding, while using decoding, we use the decoder method, that is get decoder, and the encoded, this encoded string is passed as argument here. So that way you may reverse the process and you may decode the message. Now, here in this part, we are going to discuss that what is encoding when you encode with padding, right? So here, encoding with padding, the length of an output encoded string must be a multiple of 4. So encoder, what it does, encoder adds 1 or 2 padding characters at the end of output as needed in order to meet this requirement. Also, while in the process of decoding, the decoder discards these extra padding characters, and that's how you get your original message. So, so for in this example, we can see here the same method, get encoder method, is used as we used in basic encoding, but here another method, that is without padding, is used. Now, encoding using URL. So URL encoding is very similar to basic encoder. It also uses URL and file name safe base 64 alphabet. It does not add any line separation, and decoding happens in much the same way as it was done in basic encoding. Here the method get URL decoder utility method is used. So this snippet of Java program shows the original URL as shown in this first line, and that URL is encoded using get URL encoder. So the encoded URL object basically holds the value, the encoded value. In the same way, while you want to decode, there is a method known as get URL decoder that is used here. So that way you can decode and get the message. You can extract the original message. So this is an example code that shows the basic encoding of a message. Welcome to Java. You may see the first line, original string, welcome to Java program. And with the help of the class base64 and the method get encoder, you may encode and then you may convert that into array of bytes to basically get the encoding string. And in this part, you may see that we use get decoder method to decode the original message. So in this part, decoded method, with the help of decode function, decode method is used, and you may retrieve the decoded string. Now, Java encoding, MIME encoding. So MIME is a base64 encoder that encodes the provided string content to MIME-friendly format. I'll show you an example. What is the meaning that while it is being encoded, it keeps 6 characters in each line. So, so I'll go back to the Eclipse environment and I'll show you one example how it is done. So let's see this. So I'll show you the basic 64 MIME encoding method. So here, these are two libraries that are used. So that is imported java.util.base64 and a very long string having multiple characters. I mean, 2-3 lines of message is shown here. So only in this part, we just want to show how what is going to be the encoded value. So let's run this. So you may see here in this part, the output part, I'll enlarge this window for you. So you may see the first line. This is the encoded message using MIME encoding. After running this basic program that shows only the encoding part. So you may see the first line shows only 76 character and this next line also 76 and then remaining characters in the last third line. Another example, the first one encoding the example that was included in PPT. So let's run this program. So this is the encoded string. So this is our message, right? You can see this is the message. This is the original string, and using the getEncoder method and the class base64 class belonging to utility package of Java. So this is encoded. So this is the main code that basically takes the original string, converts into the array of bytes. And this is the encoded string we receive after executing this code. And this is the second part where we use getDecoder method to decode the original message. So that is the decoded message we get here. Right. So in this part, because here we are printing decoded string, so we get the decoded string. So that will be all in this lecture video, and the content from this video is taken from the Java Complete Reference by Habershit and Programming in Java by E. Balaguruswamy. Thank you so much, everyone.